She's going to come back. Not because you begged, not because you promised to change, not because you sent that long text at 2 a.m. explaining yourself. She's going to come back because of something else entirely. Something most men never understand. And by the end of this video, you will. Here's what nobody tells you. The moment you stop chasing her, something shifts inside her mind. Something deep. Something she can't control. It doesn't happen right away. It takes time. Days. Sometimes weeks. But it happens. And when it does, she won't be able to stop thinking about you. This isn't about playing games. This isn't about tricks or manipulation. This is about understanding how emotional attraction actually works in a woman's mind. So stay with me, because what I'm about to share might change everything. Let me explain why this happens. When a woman pulls away, most men panic. They text more. They call more. They try harder to prove their love. But here's what they don't realize. That reaction, that desperation, it kills her attraction instantly. Not because she doesn't care. She might still love you. But attraction doesn't work on logic. It works on emotion. And emotions respond to tension. When you chase, you remove the tension. You remove the mystery. You become predictable. And predictable is the death of desire. Think about it like this. When she met you, there was uncertainty. She didn't know if you liked her. She didn't know if you'd call. She wondered about you. That uncertainty created emotional investment. But over time, you gave her everything. You showed all your cards. You made yourself completely available. And slowly, without realizing it, you became safe, boring, expected. She stopped wondering. She stopped feeling that pull in her chest. So she pulled away, not because you weren't enough, but because there was no emotional space left. No room for her to miss you. No gap for desire to grow. Here's the truth most men miss. A woman doesn't leave because you failed. She leaves because she stopped feeling. And feelings need space to breathe. When you understand this, everything changes. Let's go deeper now. I want to walk you through the shifts that happen inside her mind when you change your behavior. When you stop chasing. When you go silent. When you start focusing on yourself instead of her. These shifts don't happen overnight, but they are powerful, and they are real. The first shift is confusion. The moment you stop reaching out, she notices. Maybe not the first day, but soon. She's used to your texts, your calls, your attention, and suddenly, silence. At first, she might feel relieved. She might think she wanted this. But that relief doesn't last. Because underneath it, something starts stirring. A question. A doubt. Why did he stop? She won't admit it out loud. She might not even admit it to herself. But it's there, sitting in the back of her mind. And that question, it's the beginning of everything. You see, when you were always available, she never had to wonder. She knew you were there. She knew you'd respond. But now she doesn't know. And that not knowing, it creates space. Space for curiosity. Space for her to start thinking about you again. This is the first crack in her certainty. The second shift is memory. When the confusion settles, something else rises. She starts remembering. Not the arguments, not the problems, not the reasons she pulled away. She remembers the good times, the way you laughed together, the way you looked at her, the moments that made her feel alive. This is how the female mind works. When you're present and chasing, she focuses on what's wrong, on what's missing, on why she's unhappy. But when you disappear, her mind flips. She starts romanticizing. She starts missing what she had. You become the one who got away, the one she might have lost. And that feeling, that fear of loss, it's one of the most powerful emotions a human can feel. She didn't feel it when you were chasing, because there was nothing to lose. You were always there. But now she feels it, and it changes everything. This is why your silence speaks louder than any words ever could. Your absence creates a void, and in that void, her emotions start working for you instead of against you. She replays conversations. She rethinks decisions. She wonders if she made a mistake. And here's what makes this even more powerful. She can't talk to her friends about it. Not really, because admitting she misses you means admitting she was wrong. It means admitting she took you for granted. So she keeps it inside, and it builds, day after day. The pressure grows quietly. The third shift is comparison. This one cuts deep, and it works in your favor more than you realize. When a woman starts dating someone new, or even just talking to other men, something interesting happens. She compares. Not consciously at first, but every conversation, every interaction, gets measured against what she had with you. And here's the thing most men don't understand. Other guys don't measure up. Not because you're perfect, but because of something called emotional history. She has memories with you, inside jokes, shared experiences, a connection that took time to build. A new guy? He's starting from zero. He doesn't know her like you did. He doesn't understand her moods. He can't read her silences. And every time he falls short, she thinks of you. Every awkward pause, every shallow conversation, every moment that feels forced. You're there, in her mind, the ghost she can't escape. This is why rebounds almost never work. They highlight what's missing. They remind her of what she lost. And the more she tries to move on, the more she realizes, you weren't so easy to replace. The fourth shift is regret. This one takes longer to surface, but when it does, it hits hard. Regret doesn't come from logic. It comes from feeling. She starts replaying the moments, the last conversation, the things she said, the way she acted, and slowly, doubt creeps in. Did I make a mistake? Did I push him away too fast? Was I too harsh? These questions haunt her, especially late at night, especially when she's alone. You see, when a woman is in the relationship, she focuses on problems. That's how she justifies pulling away. That's how she convinces herself she's doing the right thing. But after the dust settles, she sees things differently. She remembers your effort, your patience, the things you did that she never acknowledged, and regret starts to build. Not because you manipulated her, not because you played games, but because your absence gave her the clarity she couldn't find when you were together. The fifth shift is longing. This is where everything changes. Confusion turned to memory. Memory turned to comparison. Comparison turned to regret. And now, longing. She doesn't just think about you anymore. She feels you. The empty space where you used to be. The silence where your voice should be. The absence of your presence. Longing is different from missing. Missing is soft. Longing is ache. It sits in her chest. It follows her through the day. It wakes her up at night. And here's what makes it unbearable. She can't reach out. Her pride won't let her. Her fear of rejection won't let her. The same walls she built to push you away now trap her inside. So she waits. She watches. She hopes. Maybe he'll text. Maybe he'll call. Maybe he'll give me an opening. But you don't, because you're focused on yourself now. Because you've stopped making her the center of your world. And that silence, that distance, it only makes her want you more. This is the psychology most men never grasp. They think love is about giving more, showing more, proving more. But attraction works the opposite way. It's built in the spaces, in the gaps, in what's not said as much as what is. When you pull back, you create room for her emotions to expand. You give her space to feel the weight of losing you. And that weight, it's heavier than any words you could ever speak. The sixth shift is idealization. Now something fascinating happens. In your absence, you become more than you were. Her mind starts editing the past, softening the rough edges, highlighting the best moments. She doesn't remember the arguments. She remembers the makeups. She doesn't remember the frustration. She remembers the passion. You become a highlight reel, a version of yourself that's almost too good to be true. This is human nature. We don't appreciate what we have until it's gone. And when it's gone, we make it even better in our memories. She puts you on a pedestal, not because you asked, but because your absence forced her to see your value. The man who chased her, she took him for granted. The man who walked away, she can't stop thinking about him. That's the difference. That's the shift. And it happens without you doing anything except choosing yourself. The seventh shift is action. This is where it gets real. All those emotions she's been holding inside, they have to go somewhere. So she starts looking for signs, watching your social media, checking if you've moved on. She might not comment, she might not like your posts, but she's watching. Trust me, she's watching. And every time she sees you doing well, it stings. Not because she wants you to fail, but because she realizes you're okay without her. That's terrifying for her. She thought you needed her. She thought you couldn't function without her presence. But here you are, smiling, growing, living your life. And she's the one stuck, thinking about what she lost. This is when the reaching out begins. Maybe it's subtle at first, a reaction to your story, a random text about something unrelated, a message that seems casual but isn't. She's testing the water, seeing if the door is still open, hoping you'll give her a chance to come back. Now let's pause here, because I know what you're feeling right now. You've probably been through this pain, the rejection, the confusion, the nights wondering what went wrong. And I want you to know something important. You're not crazy. The way you felt when she pulled away, the panic, the need to fix things, that's natural. Every man feels that. It's wired into us. We're taught to solve problems, to fight for what we want, to never give up. But relationships don't work like that. Chasing someone who's pulling away only pushes them further. It's like trying to hold water in your fist. The tighter you grip, the more it slips through. You weren't weak for wanting to fight for her. You just didn't understand the dynamics you were in. Now you do. And that changes everything. Here's what I want you to understand about her perspective. When she pulled away, she wasn't sure about her feelings. Maybe she felt suffocated. Maybe she needed space. Maybe she was testing your strength. But she expected you to chase. She expected you to beg. She expected you to crumble. Because that's what most men do. And when you don't, when you accept her decision with dignity, when you wish her well and walk away, that shocks her. That's not what she planned. That's not how the script was supposed to go. You were supposed to fight. You were supposed to prove yourself. You were supposed to give her all the power. But instead, you kept your power. And that's attractive on a level she can't explain. You see, a woman can love a man who chases her, but she can't respect him. And without respect, attraction dies. But a man who knows his worth, a man who refuses to beg, a man who walks away with his head high, that's different. That's a man she can't forget. That's a man who haunts her thoughts. That's a man she'll always wonder about. Let me be clear about something. This isn't about revenge. This isn't about hurting her back. This is about understanding a fundamental truth. Your value isn't determined by her opinion. Your worth isn't measured by her attention. You're the same person you were when she loved you. Nothing has changed except her perception. And perceptions shift. They always do. When you were available, you seemed less valuable. That's psychology. That's human nature. We want what's scarce. We chase what moves away. We appreciate what we might lose. So when you become scarce, when you move away, when you're suddenly harder to reach, her perception shifts. The man she took for granted becomes the man she lost. The man she thought would always wait becomes the man who moved on. And that fear, that possibility of permanent loss, it wakes her up. Suddenly, all those problems she focused on seem smaller. All those reasons she left seem weaker. And you seem irreplaceable. Not because you changed, but because your absence revealed what your presence hid. This is the power of silence, the power of walking away, the power of self-respect. It doesn't just affect her, it transforms you. When you focus on yourself, something shifts in your energy. The desperation fades. The neediness disappears. The anxiety lifts. And in its place, calm, confidence, clarity. You start walking differently, talking differently, seeing the world differently. People notice. Women notice. And yes, she notices too. Because you're no longer the man waiting by the phone. You're the man building his empire. The man on a mission. The man who doesn't need anyone to complete him. And that version of you? That's the man she fell for in the beginning. Before the relationship made you soft. Before the fear of losing her made you weak. Before you forgot yourself trying to keep her. You're becoming him again. The man with options. The man with purpose. The man who chooses, rather than begs. This is the flip. This is where the power shifts. She used to have all the control. She decided if you were together. She decided if you were happy. She held your emotional state in her hands. But not anymore. Now you hold the power. Now you control your happiness. Now you decide what you deserve. And she sees it. She feels it. And it drives her crazy. Because she remembers when you needed her. When you couldn't breathe without her. When she was your everything. That felt good for her ego. But it killed her desire. Now the opposite is happening. You don't need her. And that makes her want you. That's the paradox of attraction. The more you need someone, the less they want you. The less you need them, the more they chase. It sounds backward, but it's true. It's always been true. Now let me tell you something about her return. When she comes back, and she will, it won't be dramatic. She won't show up at your door crying. She won't call you sobbing, begging for another chance. It'll be subtle. A text out of nowhere. A casual comment. a question that doesn't need asking. She's testing. She's checking. She's looking for an opening. How you respond in that moment matters more than anything before. If you jump too fast, you lose your ground. You become that desperate man again, and she'll retreat. But if you stay calm, if you respond with quiet confidence, if you make her work for your attention, that's when everything changes. That's when she truly commits. Because now she knows, you're not hers by default. She has to earn you. And what's earned is valued. What's given freely is ignored. This is the lesson most men learn too late. Now I want to speak directly to your heart. I know this hurts. I know you're tired of feeling invisible. I know you've given everything and received nothing back. But hear me when I say this. You are not broken. You are not unlovable. You are not the problem. You are simply playing a game no one taught you the rules to. Love isn't about sacrifice without limits. It isn't about giving until you're empty. It isn't about losing yourself to keep someone else. Real love requires two whole people. And you can't be whole if you're constantly pouring into someone who doesn't pour back. So here's what I want you to do. Stop waiting for her to decide your worth. Stop checking your phone for her name. Stop replaying moments looking for answers. Start focusing on you. Hit the gym, read that book, start that project. Reconnect with old friends. Build the life you've always wanted. Not to make her jealous, not to win her back, but because you deserve it. Because the best version of you is waiting to emerge, and he can't come out while you're stuck worrying about someone who left. Let her go. Let her feel the weight of losing you. Let her wonder if she made the biggest mistake of her life, and while she's wondering, you'll be building. Building a life that doesn't need her validation. Building a future that's yours, regardless of who's in it. Building a man you're proud to be. That's the goal. That's the mission. And if she comes back, great. You'll decide if she deserves a place in what you've built. If she doesn't, also great. Because you'll be surrounded by people who see your value without convincing. Either way, you win. So tell me in the comments, what's one thing you're going to do this week to focus on yourself instead of waiting for her? I'm reading every response. See you in the next one.